exposing ISIS's darkest secrets, mature audiences only. They were a force of terror that brought the world to its knees. Their names struck fear across continents, and their actions shocked humanity to its core. But behind the headlines and the horrific acts, there exists a side of this group that few dare to discuss. What drove these individuals to commit such atrocities? What sinister ideologies and strategies lay hidden beneath the surface? Today, we're delving into the darkest depths, unraveling the twisted motivations and horrifying realities that defined ISIS. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll uncover secrets and truths that will change the way you see one of the most feared organizations in modern history. Ready to confront the unimaginable? Let's begin. Brutal executions and torture methods. When we talk about the darkest side of ISIS, one of the most horrifying aspects is their brutal methods of execution and torture. These methods aren't just acts of violence, they're deliberate tools used to spread terror and control. One of the most infamous methods ISIS used is beheading. These gruesome executions are often carried out in public, designed to maximize fear and intimidation. The beheadings are recorded and shared widely, showcasing the brutal violence and demonstrating their ruthless power. The graphic nature of these videos serves a dual purpose, instilling terror in those who watch and sending a chilling message to anyone who might oppose them. Another horrifying method is immolation, or burning people alive. This method is not only incredibly painful, but also serves as a horrific propaganda tool. ISIS has released videos showing people being burned in cages. These videos are intended to shock and disturb, sending a clear message that ISIS will stop at nothing to assert its dominance. Then there's drowning, a method ISIS has used to execute prisoners. In these cases, victims are submerged in water, often in metal cages, until they drown. Like beheadings and immolation, these executions are recorded and used as a means of propaganda. They are designed to display the group's power and create fear among those who might resist. These methods aren't just about killing, they are about creating terror. By broadcasting these acts of violence, ISIS aims to control and dominate, using fear as their weapon. The videos serve as a propaganda tool, spreading their twisted message far beyond the immediate victims. It's important to understand the impact of these actions. They are not only horrific in their brutality, but are also a stark reminder of the depths of cruelty and violence that extremist groups are willing to go to in order to achieve their goals. Use of child soldiers and human shields. One of the most disturbing aspects of ISIS's tactics is their use of child soldiers and human shields. These practices are not just cruel, they are a deep violation of human rights and morality. Child soldiers are used by ISIS in ways that are both heartbreaking and terrifying. Children as young as 8 or 9 are recruited, often through propaganda and coercion. These children are indoctrinated with extremist beliefs, taught to use weapons, and forced to participate in combat. The psychological impact on these young victims is severe. They are stripped of their childhood and subjected to violence and trauma that can leave lasting scars. The physical dangers are equally grim. Many are injured or killed in battle, their lives cut short before they've even had a chance to grow. ISIS also uses children as human shields. This means they place children in dangerous situations to protect themselves from attacks. For example, children might be positioned in the middle of a battlefield or used to block roads, making it harder for opposing forces to attack without risking harm to the innocent. This tactic not only puts children in direct harm, but also exploits their vulnerability in the most horrific way. The use of child soldiers and human shields reflects the extreme moral depravity of ISIS. It shows how they will go to any lengths to further their goals, even if it means causing immense suffering to the most vulnerable. These practices are designed to manipulate and control, using fear and exploitation to maintain power and spread their ideology. Understanding these tactics highlights the need for continued international efforts to protect children and combat such extreme forms of violence. The psychological and physical damage inflicted on these young victims is a stark reminder of the urgent need to address and prevent such atrocities. Destruction of cultural heritage. Another horrifying aspect of ISIS's actions is their systematic destruction of cultural heritage. This isn't just about vandalism, it's a deliberate effort to erase history and demoralize communities. In regions controlled by ISIS, we've seen the deliberate destruction of some of the world's most valuable historical sites and artifacts. Ancient temples, monuments, and sculptures, some dating back thousands of years, have been reduced to rubble. Cities like Palmyra in Syria, known for their incredible archaeological treasures, have been heavily targeted. These sites weren't just symbols of the past, they were integral to the identity and history of countless people. One of the most shocking aspects of this destruction is the way ISIS has used it as a tool for propaganda. By demolishing these cultural landmarks, they are sending a powerful message. They aim to erase the past and impose their own ideology. This isn't just about physical damage. It's about erasing the collective memory and cultural heritage of entire communities. This act of cultural genocide serves multiple purposes for ISIS. It helps to demoralize local populations by stripping them of their historical identity and pride. It also sends a message to the international community about their power and their disdain for anything that doesn't align with their extreme views. The destruction of cultural heritage has a profound impact. It not only destroys beautiful and significant historical sites, but also breaks the connection between people and their history. It affects the collective memory of communities, leaving a void where once there was pride and history. Sexual slavery and human trafficking. One of the most devastating aspects of ISIS's brutality is their practice of sexual slavery and human trafficking. This isn't just a violation of human rights, it's an act of extreme cruelty and exploitation. ISIS has targeted women and girls, particularly from communities like the Yazidis, in a horrifying campaign of abduction and enslavement. The Yazidi people, an ancient minority group from northern Iraq, have been particularly victimized. In 2014, ISIS launched a brutal assault on their communities, capturing thousands of women and girls. These individuals were torn from their families and subjected to unimaginable horrors. The scale of these atrocities is staggering. Women and girls were taken to ISIS-controlled areas and sold as slaves. They were forced into sexual slavery, with their lives reduced to a constant cycle of abuse and violence. The experiences of these survivors are harrowing. Many were subjected to repeated sexual violence and exploitation, while others were used as bargaining chips or simply discarded once they were deemed unusable. The trauma inflicted on these women and girls is profound and enduring. They face psychological scars that may last a lifetime. The impact on their mental health is severe, with many suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, depression, and anxiety. Reintegrating into society after such experiences is incredibly challenging, as survivors often struggle with feelings of shame, isolation, and loss. The scale and brutality of these acts are a stark reminder of the inhumanity of extremist groups. The aim of such atrocities is not only to terrorize and control, but also to systematically dehumanize and break the spirit of entire communities. Global recruitment and propaganda. ISIS's ability to recruit members from around the world is one of the most alarming aspects of their operation. They use sophisticated online propaganda to spread their ideology and attract new followers. One of the main tools ISIS uses is social media. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are leveraged to broadcast their messages and recruit individuals. They create and share high-quality videos and images that portray their so-called caliphate as a powerful, almost utopian society. These posts are designed to appeal to people who might be disillusioned or seeking a sense of belonging. ISIS also uses encrypted communications to operate covertly. Apps like Telegram and WhatsApp are used to communicate privately and securely. This encryption allows them to plan and coordinate attacks without easy detection. It also means they can keep their messages and strategies hidden from authorities, making their recruitment efforts harder to track. Their propaganda is not just about recruiting fighters. It's also about spreading their ideology and creating fear. They use graphic content and dramatic rhetoric to shock and attract attention, aiming to manipulate emotions and beliefs. This tactic helps them reach a wider audience and reinforce their message. The reach of ISIS's online influence highlights the need for ongoing vigilance and countermeasures. Social media companies, governments, and communities must work together to combat these extremist narratives and prevent them from spreading further. If you found this video informative, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We have more amazing content coming up that dives deep into critical issues and important topics. Also, don't miss out on our other videos. There's a lot more to discover and learn. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.